Who thought it was a good idea to let AOC, of all people, speak at a town hall, or at least try to speak?
Would and should the U.S. actually commit U.S. troops to defend Taiwan if China were to move?
I think that this is such a, I think that this is a, this is, of course, a...
I have no words. And on that note, neither did she. Welcome back to Sara Gonzales Unfiltered. Happy Monday. I just, looking at how the left manipulates children, like the depths of their evil and ghoulish behavior, there's no floor, as I say. Like there used to be this understanding that whatever your political differences, it was like, leave the kids out of it, right? If you're an adult, you're fair game. Leave the kids out of it. Don't bring them into this nonsense. Don't use them as political pawns. And for many years now, they've just been using children as political pawns. They've just been resorting to, they're like, no, we're going to do that. The ends justifies the means. It's okay if we ruin their innocence. It's okay if I could go down the line of the last, better part of a decade. No, it's okay if we mutilate and sterilize them. It's fine. It's all the ends justifies the means. It's all on behalf of our agenda, but it's not stopping. And it's not just the LGBTQ ideology. It's literally like every single ideology, every single platform that they have on every single issue. They're just trying to groom children. They're trying to groom children to do all sorts of things, including trying to convince them to protest ICE. For some reason, children should be very upset that the Trump administration is trying to remove illegal criminals from our cities. Now, don't waste your time or your brain power trying to make out why that is. But let me just give you this headline here. Scathing report reveals Antifa-linked organization passing out material to K through 12 students. Political revolution. And of course, you're going to be shocked to hear this. Hope you're sitting down. This was a document created by a group with ties to George Soros as well. Now, this was obtained by a group called Defending Education. It's a 25-page document, and it focuses on mobilizing youth against what it describes as a regime. It's a regime and a system captured by billionaires. Now, far be it from me to point out the hypocrisy of this being funded by George Soros, of all people. But when it's billionaires that we don't agree with, it's bad. And when it's billionaires that we do agree with, it's good. And when it's billionaires we don't agree with, it's dark money. And when it's billionaires we do agree with, it's just a generous political donation. System captured by billionaires urges students to walk out of classrooms and boycott businesses to try to prove that the country cannot function without their cooperation. I don't understand. The country can't function if we walk out of our classrooms. I don't think the country does need you to not be retarded. They do need you to be educated, but I'm not sure that that's proving the point that you think it is. Now, sadly, that's not the headline I just showed you. That was not an isolated incident. We've got another one here. Far left activists radicalizing high school kids to take on ICE as young suspects in agent attack pictured. This is Dare to Struggle SoCal. Southern California. Oh, they know so much about struggling. They are urging children to skip class and rebel against agents across major West Coast cities. Now, it is compelling. It's my friend Stu Burgier, who's a Blaze TV host, my colleague, host of Stu Does America, he always talks about this, and he's like, the kids just leave class and protest because they get to not learn. They just want to leave school and they don't really care. And the leftist organizations know that. And so that is where the manipulation comes in. They manipulate these kids and they're like, hey, want to skip school for a good cause? Oh, you want to learn more? Okay, now is where we really have you because you really already don't want to be at school. You will very easily be manipulated into being anywhere else but, especially if it's with the cool crowd. Especially if a bunch of peer pressure happens. So now you have all of these kids going out, leaving school, which, by the way, I don't even get me started on the safety issues that there are. Like, I expect when I drop my kid off that my kid is going to stay at school, that my kid is going to be accounted for. And I'm going to pick my kid up. Nothing, they're not going to leave, come back. None of that is going to happen. You guys are going to keep my kids the entire time. And the schools are like, hey, if they walk out, we can't stop them. Like, legally, we are not allowed to physically stop them. So wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I guess, kids, we can't stop you. Oh, please don't leave. And so now you have these children going out, leaving school, acting like little, leftist maniacs. Oh.
Are you a teacher here?
Let's go.
Have these parents been notified?
Yes,
They have? Did your parents give you permission to protest?
Yeah. Brown and proud. Mind you, that was the school principal. That it was worse than being a teacher. That was the school principal. That was the person who's in charge of the teachers who were in charge of teaching your students. Now, first of all, as a parent, it's like, okay, this doesn't need to be school sponsored. This doesn't need to be on taxpayer time, right? The school principal is there. It's clearly school sponsored. That's not a thing that you need to be doing. If the parents want to pull the kids out and let them go participate in this dumb little protest where they're like simping for criminals, okay, let the parent do that. Let the parent do that. Let the parent take off work. Let the parent do that on their own time and their own dime, but not on taxpayer dollars. Secondly, I very much worry about that generation that we're still pretending like the color of your skin has anything to do with this. Like, brown and proud. I mean, I'm a little pale right now, but when I have a good tan, I do look more brown than, other days. And it has nothing to do with my legal status in the country. I don't understand how these people are making these kids they lack the critical thinking skills to actually think that through. Just a very, very quick A to B. And they can't even brown and proud. These people are here illegally. That is the problem. The problem has nothing to do with the color of your skin, kids. Now, some of these kids are even going so far as to assault officers. There was an ICE worker who was hit by a rock and rushed to the hospital when officers faced off against up to 500 teenagers outside Los Angeles Metropolitan Detention Center. And some kids in Washington clashed with officers. Now, they allegedly assaulted an officer. Truly, what are we teaching our children? What are the ramifications of what we are teaching our children in this moment right here? Assaulting literally anyone is already, you're a loser. Your kid's going to grow up to be a loser. They don't stand a chance. Assaulting a police officer on top of that takes it to a whole new level. These kids need to learn some freaking respect. This is disgraceful. All of the parents should be. If my kid did that, oh my gosh. If I heard that my kid did that to anyone, let alone a police officer, I would take him to the prison to be arrested. They wouldn't need to, I'd be like, I got you. And trust me when I tell you, he'd probably rather be in the back of your cop car than in my car on the way. This is really troubling stuff. And it's all taxpayer sponsored. It's all school sponsored, letting the kiddos out into the streets to go protest. Oh, we're not teaching you reading, writing, or arithmetic. Oh, I'm sorry. Do you expect that the children can read by the time that they graduate? Might not happen, but do you know what we are going to teach them? To assault police officers for enforcing the law. Yeah, that's what they're going to learn in public schools. Now, I would like to play, it's interesting with this Washington clash with these police officers. They're real tough. They are real tough, these kids, until they get placed under arrest, and suddenly things change. I want my mommy. Oh, somebody want their mommy. Maybe she should have thought about that before she committed violence against law enforcement. Oh. Now, again, I tell you, the problem is the taxpayer funding. The problem is that you are paying for that. You're paying for these things to happen. And teachers and teachers' unions are also forcing this. They're actually telling people that these protests that sometimes turn violent on police officers are actually required.
So when Florida students are confronted with videos of ICE raids, of families being torn apart, and of Americans being murdered for using their constitutional rights, they respond. They organize. They speak out. And they do what American students have always done in moments of injustice. They stand together and demand safety for their peers, their families, and themselves. And that response, while framed by some politicians as radical, is rather reasonable. It's rational. And in a moment like this, it is required.
Get your kids the hell out of public school. Get your kids the hell out of public school. I know, I get it. I get emails all the time. It's like, well, but let me explain to you why I have an extenuating circumstance. It isn't going to be convenient. Please get your kids out of public schools if you don't want them to turn into mini little commies. Because these teachers that belong to these teachers' unions that you just heard right there are going around teaching your children that it is actually their duty. It's their duty to go out to the streets and protest ICE enforcing the law. Now, that's not how they frame it completely dishonestly. They frame it completely dishonestly. You just heard him. He's like, or I say him. I'm not even actually sure which gender that person was. Looked like a dude. But he's framing it as like, oh, well, this is a human rights issue. And of course, in this moment, you're required to take to the streets for civil rights. Yeah, I'm not sure what that is. I feel reasonably confident saying that that's a dude, but also the dude, is that a dude behind him? In the black with the short hair? I have some questions about what's going on in the Florida teachers unions. Actually, I don't have some questions. Those are probably females now that I'm thinking about it. But like, these people are trying to manipulate your child into thinking that this is a civil rights violation. This is the new civil rights movement. We are going to take to the streets to protect your neighbors. It's just your neighbors. It's your neighbors. It could be you next time. That's what they're trying to train these little minds to think. And of course, despite the fact that this is what the left has been reduced to, that the left now has decided for the last decade, we're coming after your kids. We're going for the kids. This is not an adult conversation anymore. We're going for your kids. The younger, the better. They have decided that for the better part of a decade. And despite them doing that, they still, if there's any mention of like loving your country, less government, lower taxes, if there's any mention of any of that, big government sucks around kids, if you dare mention conservative politics around kids, the left just loses their ever-loving minds. Let me give you this one. Maryland woman says TPUSA high school event raised serious concerns, says Child Protective Services was notified. So the left can take your child out of school without your consent, send them into the streets, which is, of course, risking their safety, tell them that this is some civil rights issue, get them all drummed up, violate all sorts of, parental rights that you have to raise your child the way that you see fit. And the moment that a high school puts on a TPUSA event to try to teach your children to love this country, CPS is notified. These are not serious people. These are not good people, actually. I guess I'd like to believe that some of them are redeemable. Most of them are not. These are irredeemable people. And this indoctrination, you can tell, has gone too far because we see time and time again all of these leftists committing mass shootings. We see what all of this hatred, what all of this division, what all of this inflammatory rhetoric is doing. And they really don't, they don't want to fix the problem. In fact, I would argue that they want to actually ramp it up, make it worse. And unfortunately, it's producing people like this.
Why? Are you threatening me? Why should I be scared if my family's gonna die?
You bitches.
What'd you say?
I said what I said, bitch. You deaf, you might want to rehear the video. Learn how to use your ears, bitch. You look deaf and
I just wanted to confirm it, so I made sure I heard what I was saying.
Guys, we would have shot your dumbass.
That's what the left has done to this country. That is a direct result of leftist rhetoric. I hope that they're proud. I hope that they're proud that their legacy that they will leave to this country is deciding to convince young people that they should kill over politics. I hope that they're proud. Now, I will, let me leave you with this. It's not as alarming, but still just really, really sad. Really sad. I saw this video on my Instagram feed, and it was clearly meant to be this harmless, fun video. This guy is offering a Girl Scout who is trying to sell her Girl Scout cookies, which, guys, I understand. They're very yummy. They're very toxic. Please don't buy them. I'm sorry if you have a Girl Scout. I'm sorry. Look at the ingredients. They're not good for you, okay? My Maha brain is like, please don't buy them. But the man was actually solving both problems because this Girl Scout was she was trying to get people to buy her cookies. And he's like, I'll do you one better. I will give you $500 if you can answer my little pop quiz, my riddle.
Girl Scout, come here, miss. I will do this. I'll give you a better blessing. I just want to ask her one question. If she could get it right, we were $500.
Okay.
It's pretty easy. What is sticky? You can peel it, but you can't eat it.
Hey.
I'll give you one more chance. Sticky, you can peel it, but you can't eat it. That was close, though.
Yeah. Let me think about it.
You were so close.
It's so much pressure.
You were so close. What you got? Sticky. You can peel it, but you can't eat it. And you were so close. I'm saying wallpaper.
Wallpaper.
No, I'm gonna give you 100 for trying. Okay?
Thank you.
But it's a sticker.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, you're from Sticker Mule.
Yeah. Are you familiar with Sticker Mule?
Yes, we love Sticker Mule.
Oh yeah, you get stickers from here?
Wait, you're from Sticker Mule?
Yeah, they're my peoples. Yeah.
All right, you know your people support Trump, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Give him back his $100. Thanks anyway.
Okay, God bless, bro.
Yep.
I hope that was I don't think it was staged. I wish that it was. He just gave your daughter $100 and he's like, ew, orange man bad. Ew. Like you could hear, that guy needs his T levels checked. I could already tell by the sound of his voice exactly what type of beta he is. All right, let's go ahead and we're going to take a quick break and thank our sponsor. But first, make sure you're subscribed. This is the time where I tell you to smash the like button on YouTube, comment. It'll help us in the algorithm, which we all know is stacked against us. And make sure also, while you're doing that, you go over to our new channel at Sara Gonzales TX and subscribe there as well. We are working on some really, really great stuff. It's kind of driving my producer and I crazy, but also very vindicating to put together. So make sure that you are subscribed. It's going to be exclusive to that channel as well. I want to thank our sponsor, PreBorn. So PreBorn has rescued, let me tell you, last year, PreBorn rescued 80,000 babies. I am so proud of you guys, my audience, and so many others who have donated to PreBorn to make that possible. Because let me tell you, every single day, thousands of women hear the same devastating lie. Abortion is your only option. You're scared you have an unplanned pregnancy? Let me explain to you how abortion is your answer. You can't do this alone. You don't have help. You don't have the money. You don't have the resources. They're going to hear that if they go into some other clinic. But when they go into a PreBorn network clinic, they're going to see their baby on the ultrasound. They're going to hear their baby's heartbeat. And in that moment, that one moment doubles that mother's chance of choosing life. I'm just going to tell you, obviously, ultrasounds cost money. $28 to be precise is the cost of an ultrasound. So knowing that you are doubling that baby's chance at life, how many babies can you help us save? Let's make this year the biggest baby saving year in history. You can go to preborn.com/Sarah. That is preborn.com/Sarah. I'm going to set the stage for you, okay? There was a big security conference in Munich, and there were many world representatives, right? Like each region has speakers that come and participate and I guess like represent the places they're from. And we did not send our best. We are not sending our best speakers, okay? This is the real who's who of Democrat losers were there to speak. You had Gavin Newsom, Hillary Clinton, and AOC. And, like, it is equal parts, I think, agonizing and also very glass half full when you hear Hillary Clinton speak, because there are moments in life sometimes where you're like, hindsight, I mean, I always knew Hillary Clinton was a terrible person, but hindsight, really hindsight, you're like, ooh, we dodged a bullet there. All right. We could have had Hillary Clinton, as president, and we didn't have to go through that at all. We just had like one of the greatest presidents of our lifetime instead. So it's a little bit like, oh man, it's a little vindicating to see, but she's up there on a world stage, taking the opportunity to trash President Trump to anyone who would listen. She clearly has TDS more than anyone else. I mean, I think she has PTSD from President Trump beating her. She never thought that it could happen. She took her position for granted. She thought she was, of course, the rightful heir to the throne. And how dare that Donald Trump go and steal it from her? And so she was trying to trash President Trump to literally anyone who would listen. I think maybe she got confused that she was like in her therapist room or something. I don't know. But thankfully, Peter Masinka, Deputy Prime Minister of the Czech Republic, did not let her get away with it.
None of us in this room, including all of us on this panel, would choose to live under a regime that was so unaccountable that it could act with impunity the way that Putin does, except that's who Trump is modeling himself
I don't think we would be having this debate.
First, I think you really don't like him.
That is absolutely true. But I really, not only do I not like him, I don't like him because of what he's doing to the United States and the world. And I think you should take a hard look at it if you think that there is something good that will come out of it.
Peter.
What I think Trump is doing in America, I think it is reaction for something for some policies that really went too far from the regular people, too far from reality. So we saw the cancel culture. We saw the woke revolution.
All of them.
I don't agree with the gender revolution, the climate alarmism.
Which gender? Women having their rights?
Let Peter go on.
I think there are two genders. But
what is a woman, Hill?
Half of us. Some
of us think that there is more than one, or more than two gender. I think there is male and female, and the rest probably is a social construct. So this is something that went too far.
He's like, Hill Dog. You guys got too crazy. You got too cuckoo and you lost people. And she's like, oh, are you talking about women's rights? Like, oh, now all of a sudden, conveniently, you know what women are. Isn't that interesting? That his point was you want to claim that there's 8,500 different genders. And she's like, oh, what? Oh, you want to talk about women's rights? Like, now you're going to speak on a woman. You don't think a woman should have rights in the bathroom. You don't think a woman should have rights in the locker room. You don't think women should have rights to, their own scholarships for sports. You don't think women have rights to their own championships. You don't think women have rights at all. You don't think women have rights in prison where they now get housed with biological men who rape them. But you, Hillary Clinton, the woman who is unspeakably evil to the women that your husband sexually assaulted, you want to utter anything about women's rights. That is so laughable. That is disgusting. Now, this guy is trying to, I thought he was much politer than I would have been. He's trying to politely explain to her that she doesn't have the moral authority here. And apparently, again, like the TDS is too strong. The PTSD that she has from not winning the election that she really felt like she was the rightful winner of, it was too far. And so the lesson didn't stick for Hillary Clinton because she went on to speak at another panel, again, about women's rights, now at the top of their list, women's rights. Well, not when the trans people are actually decimating women's rights. And so, who better to speak to that issue alongside her than a dude in a wig, Tim McBride?
At the end of the day, transphobia, homophobia, misogyny, and sexism are all rooted in the same prejudice. The belief that one perception at birth should dictate who you are, how you act, what you do, who you love, and how you dress. And it's why threats toward trans people are threats toward all women.
Well, I appreciate how you expanded the aperture, Sarah, because I agree that this is about any evidence of nonconformity. This is about, as you say, scarcity. This is about not falling in line. This is about questioning the patriarchy.
Guys, they have absolutely zero self-awareness. Zero self-awareness. The only patriarchy that exists is Tim McBride. Like that is the real patriarchy. They used to talk about the patriarchy all the time. Screw the patriarchy, damn the man. We're not going to take it. When we used to all agree that women were women and men were men. And now we see, there actually was a patriarchy. We used to make fun of them. What patriarchy? What patriarchy? What rights do men have that you don't have? And now we realize what the real patriarchy was all along. It actually was the idea that a man can put on a wig, put on some fake boobies, and he can actually just take your shit. Like he can, again, take your scholarships, take your championships, take your privacy in your bathroom. Like he can actually just like be Leah Thomas, whatever the hell his name was. What was his real name? I don't even remember. But you can be that guy and you can just suck at what you do, like swimming, and you can just go in the women's division and just take all of their championships. Like that is the actual patriarchy. It is laughable that these people want to talk about the patriarchy. The only patriarchy that exists is the trans issue. Now, I regret to inform you that wasn't even the most embarrassing thing that was done at this conference. Like I guess I saved I say the best for last, but it's not really. I say that tongue in cheek because it's actually very embarrassing. They had Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez there she was going to try to speak. She tried it. Didn't happen.
Would and should the U.S. actually commit U.S. troops to defend Taiwan if China were to move?
I think that
yes,
this is
what is
such
it?
I think that
yes,
this is a
hello.
This is of course a
the hamster is in the wheel, and that wheel is off the track. Boom, 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 boom. That wheel is, nope. That hamster has been a little rattled from all of the head hitting the wheel, and it's gone a little retarded. It's gone a little, she has no idea. Why are we sending AOC for this? Why is this our girl? Why is this our representation? And by the way, it just gets worse. But wait, there's more. She did finally decide that she could speak words, real words, higher than kindergarten level. And they let her speak at this TED Talk, like this TEDx event in Berlin, which, boy, if your list of speakers dons Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, you are pretty desperate. And so she tried to troll Marco Rubio's speech at one point. Watch.
Rubio's speech was a pure appeal to Western culture. My favorite part was when he said that American cowboys came from Spain.
I thought they came from Winnetou, but
I believe the Mexicans and descendants of African enslaved peoples would like to have a word on that.
Okay. Wait until she figures out who colonized Mexico and why they speak Spanish. AOC. Also, history lesson. Spain brought over horses to North America in the 1500s, which no horses, no cowboys. I just would can we just let this be? There's more, but wait, there's more again. But can we just let this be the example that we can all point to and say bartenders should not be in Congress? That just needs to be the new rule. I'm sorry if there are any bartenders that are actually very smart, but she's ruined it for all of you. Okay? She's too retarded. She could stick to bartending. Make me a Jack and diet. Stop trying to talk at TEDx. Okay? You don't know what you're talking about. Clearly, you failed history. Also, it's not the only subject that she failed. I believe she failed geography as well, because here is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez talking about Venezuela.
It is not a remark on who Maduro was as a leader. He canceled elections. He was an anti-democratic leader. That doesn't mean that we can kidnap a head of state and engage in acts of war just because the nation is below the equator.
And of course, the seals. What a fine point from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Except, newsflash, Venezuela is actually entirely above the equator. That's why I'm saying, let's just ban bartenders from Congress. Okay? Just any smart bartenders out there, take one for the team. We've had our test case, and she's failed. It's failed. Sorry, pack it up. Sorry to ruin your dreams, but that's just going to be how it is. All right, we've got to take a quick break. We'll be back with more. Breaking news, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer really loves I'm sorry. I meant flags. It's just it's Monday. I'm falling all over my words. I meant flags. Although I guess he loves both, because he's pushing a bill to give the pride flag the same status as United States and military flags. Just when you thought the Democrats couldn't go lower, they sink to a new level. Now, he says the whole thing is that, President Trump removed the pride flag from Stonewall National Monument. We can't have that. We can't have that. I mean, who doesn't think that a flag that represents who you like to sleep with is akin to the flag representing your entire country? The flag representing the military. Which one of these is not like the other? We don't need a flag to celebrate who you're sticking your ding-a-ling in. That's not actually a thing that we need. We don't need a flag on the Stonewall National Monument to represent that. But Chucky Schumer was very upset. He was very, very upset about that. And he tried to like rile up all of his gay besties at a press conference at Stonewall. Watch.
The Trump administration's removal of the Pride rainbow flag from the Stonewall National Monument is a deeply outrageous action that must be reversed. It's an effing disgrace. Right. It's just awful. When the Trump administration ripped the Pride flag down, it was a direct attack on this community.
Oh my God.
Attempt to chip away at hard-won civil rights.
It's a flag.
So today we're fighting back and taking action. I am introducing legislation to designate the Pride flag as a congressionally authorized flag in America, and that means it can be flown here and everywhere else. And no one can take it down.
Now, isn't it just so infuriating when you think, like, you're like, wow, tackling the big issues of the day. Thank you, Chuck Schumer, for doing the heavy lifting to help out average Americans. You're not doing anything to get rid of all of the illegal criminals that are in our country. In fact, you're fighting it at every turn. You're not doing anything to address inflation. It was the Republicans that did that. You're not doing anything to protect children from harm. You're not doing you are not doing anything to make Americans' lives better. But thank God you're fighting over a flag, dude. I mean, give yourself a round of applause. That is, wow, you're really putting yourself out there. It's actually despicable how disgusting these people are. Now, Chucky, been a big fan of the gays for a long time. And by long time, I mean like as long as it's been socially acceptable in the Democrat Party, because it wasn't. And then it was. Now, here he is celebrating Pride in 2019.
This is Stonewall. What started 50 years ago is unstoppable today.
It's just, I mean, it's so silly. It's so silly. Like, Democrats did not love the gays like this until 2014. You recall, they were all against it. Schumer himself was against gay marriage back in the day. He even voted in favor of the Defense of Marriage Act in 1996, which of course defined marriage as one man and one woman. They all were all in agreement on that. They were all in agreement on it. And remember, it was Donald Trump who was the first president entering office who was okay with gay marriage, who was like, you know what? I think the gays are fine. It was Donald Trump, actually, who entered his presidency believing in gay marriage. It wasn't the Democrats. It was Donald Trump. And so you have this long history of Chucky Schumer, who always was like, not the gay's best friend. And I started thinking like, okay, what changed with Chuck Schumer until... Guys, I think I solved it. I think I cracked the code. It's just like Barack and Michelle. Is that a woman? I don't think so. That looks like another dude. They actually look like they could be related. They look like, go back to I want to see the other picture again. They look like the Muppets that are at the opera and they're up in the box. What is it? Waldorf and Statler. I'm reliably informed by my producer. That's who they look like. They look like two old grumpy men. Now you can go to the other one. That is okay. All right. It's starting to make some sense. I'm tracking, Chuck. I think I get it. Why you like the gay flag so much. I think I get why you changed your mind and codified same-sex marriage. I see you. But unfortunately, that's not the LGBT flag, which do we know? Do we know if it's the LGBT trans inclusive flag? Because if it's not, you're not being inclusive and you're not being fair. So I don't even know if it's the right flag. You're probably going to offend somebody, but that's not the only flag that he's gay for. Here he is simping for China's flag too. So you're going to lecture me on anything flag related and you're waving the Chinese Communist Party flag. Like what? I'm sorry, that's retarded. You guys are like dressing up for Xi Jinping, a Communist Party dictator, who's done unspeakable human rights abuses, and you're like, woohoo, yeah. And you're going to lecture me on the flags. Like, these are not good people. I know I say this, I could say it 20 times a show, but it's just true. These are not good people. Are those values that you align with? These are not good people with good moral compasses. So, okay, Chuck, you want to wave the LGBT flag because you got your whatever's going on with your spouse. You want to wave the Chinese Communist Party flag because you really, really love dictators, except when you accuse President Trump of being a dictator, and then you really hate dictators, even though he's not the dictator, but you love the dictators in other countries. Bing, bong, bing, bong, bing. Okay. But then you start to go, what's next? Like, what's next? We're just going to start adopting other flags and just start flying them in official capacities. Like, are we going to raise the Chinese flag to fly at the same height as the United States and military flags? Are we just going to start picking flags that we're like, oh, that's my pet project. We're just going to raise it. Yeah, actually, they're already doing that. Socialist mayor of Seattle, Katie Wilson, who never actually had a real job, who never actually was separated from her parents, financially dependent enough until she got this job. So good luck to you, Seattle. Hope you enjoy this little socialist experiment with this little girl who was not even financially independent until now. And even now, I'm not even sure she is. She actually took it upon herself to, again, the American people were clamoring for it. The Democrats will always deliver on what the American people want and represent. And she said, we need the Pan-African flag over City Hall.
Today, we raised the Pan-African flag in celebration of Black History Month.
Black history, it's American history, and damn it, it's Seattle history too. Let's raise this flag.
What a loser.
There we go. All right, yes. Woo! All right.
You know, I was so winded from doing that. His scrawny little arms. He reminds me of, gosh, who was it that the Saturday Night Live character is looking in his mirror and he's like, gosh darn it, people like you. It's right. That's the history of Seattle too. Gosh darn it, because people like you. They always look like this. They always look like this, and they're here to lecture you. I just would love to know, when is the white European flag going to be raised in Seattle? Because gosh darn it, it's part of Seattle history too. Boy, howdy. Guys, stop. Just stop. If you don't like this country, if you do, it should be unquestionable that this country is the greatest country in the world, and you should be proud of it, and you should recognize the significance of not putting other flags to its level or higher than its level. And if you don't recognize that, go back to Pan-Africa, or just go there. I'm reliably informed that these people have actually never been there. Just go there. I'll buy you a one-way ticket. And then you can find out firsthand exactly how great this country really is. Maybe you would appreciate it. Maybe you have just a little bit of a different perspective if that happened. All right, we've got more to come. We'll be right back. I just mentioned that Democrats always giving the American people what they want. What you're clamoring for, they will deliver. They know their finger is on the pulse of what Americans are asking for. And so first they pushed their defund the police movement. And then they wanted to give money to illegals. And now they're combining both of those ideas into what might be the single worst policy I've ever heard of in my life. And that's saying something. That's it. Out of all the dumb ideas, it is economically really, really retarded. Spokane, I don't know. I'm just glad I don't live there. Spokane moves to defund police and give cash to migrant programs. Oh, yeah. You thought both of those were retarded? Boy, now you're going to have to deal with the combination of them. Spokane Mayor Lisa Brown proposed redirecting $100,000 from the Spokane Police Department's public outreach budget to fund assistance programs for immigrant and refugee families when a member is arrested, detained, or deported by federal immigration agencies. So this is, of course, only if your relative is a criminal, right? Because they already said, like, we're going after the criminals on top of already being criminals because they're here illegally. Arrested, detained, or deported, they're going after the criminals. So now it's like, actually, don't make the families go. The families can stay and we will take care of them. Your taxpayer dollars will go to take care of these poor illegals so that they can stay. The Spokane city website branded this policy as directing funding to support families impacted by civil immigration enforcement. Yes. Civil immigration enforcement. It's not a criminal matter. You're not a criminal if you're here illegally. I mean, this is the way that they're framing it now. You heard it first with Jasmine Crockett. It did not work at all. Like, at all. When she was in the podcast and she was like, well, yeah, let me tell you why the illegal immigrants aren't actual criminals. It's a civil matter. It's a civil matter, yo. And you're like, what? You just said illegal. It's in the name, illegal. What do you mean? It's not a crime, ma'am. You're supposed to be a lawyer. You don't understand what a crime is or isn't? Are we just handing these fancy degrees out to anyone now? So they saw how terribly that worked for her. And the city of Spokane was like, I know. We're just going to call it civil immigration enforcement. And it's going to sound really mean now whenever illegal criminals get deported from our country. Guys, this is suicide. Like, doing it on a nationwide level would be national suicide. I don't understand where they think that it will lead. But I will say, at least for the record, I will say, you know what? If you guys want to live in shithole Spokane and you want to be around these mentally ill white people who are constantly finding new ways to like simp for illegals, I guess like more power to ya. I mean, it's as close as to a national divorce as we would get, I guess. Federal money not being spent on that. My money in Texas not being spent on that. If the people in Spokane want to spend their money on that, fine, all well and good. But when they run out of money because they've given it all to illegals, the feds need to step in and say no. And that I would be in favor for. That I would be in favor of. Every state for himself, every city for himself. If you don't like it, get the hell out and go to a more reasonable city. If you guys want to implode, that's on you, I guess. So, as it turns out, I guess I'm actually for that. All right, make sure that you go to AmericanBeautyBySarah.com, get you some makeup. Also, you can go to SarahGonzales.com. Check out all we got over at SarahGonzales.com. We'll see you guys tomorrow.